Hi, everyone. I'm honored to be here tonight as a part of the 46th Annual Bermuda Festival to share with you a show by Tiffany Paynter, The Trouble with Blood. Tonight's show is extra special to me because Tiffany is actually my aunt. So a lot of the experiences that she will be speaking about in her poems are experiences that I somewhat lived myself. Tonight's program will consist of three poems: Daddy, Mama's Tongue, and Ode to Kairos. In between each film, I will be speaking with Aunt Tiff and some of our collaborators to discuss the projects and some of their themes. As a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, there is a live comment section on the side, so feel free, leave us comments, emojis, any questions you may have throughout the show. That's where you put them. We love it. All right, without further ado, I would like to welcome Aunt Tiff, along with two collaborators who worked on the first film, Daddy, Andres and Jorge.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
guys.
How are
Hi,
you?
everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Aunt Tiff, you must be excited to finally show these three amazing films. I'm so excited for you. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling really good. I'm happy and proud and just been overwhelmed with like so much support and cheerleading from everywhere, from all of my friends and different family members. So yeah, I've told myself I'm not nervous, I'm excited because it's the same thing in the body. It's
I feel that. Okay. What was it like working together, you guys, Jorge and Andres? How did you enjoy working with my aunt Tiff?
We enjoyed it a lot. Tiffany's it really is great. I mean, it sounds like we are saying good things because we are here live, but it actually is super great to work with her. We showed
I'm
we
withholding their pay until they say nice things. You know, I haven't sent the other half.
yeah, that may be a thing, but really, with Jorge here, we had a saying regarding Tiffany that she was always like a bit of sunshine that came through the clouds. Every time that we felt that the production was going to get a bit complicated or something didn't plan turn out the way that we intended to, and she came into our lives like a beam of light. And you can tell that she's super great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she is. She is.
Thank
How about you,
you.
Jorge?
Well, I agree totally with Andres. Tiffany is like a beautiful being of light that came into our lives. I was going through a personal issue. My dad was very ill, and then he passed away. And this project that Tiffany brought to us was a very powerful healing process for me. So instead of suffering it or I don't know, it was I mean a lovely healing process, like I said, and I really enjoy it. And Tiffany was like an angel for us. So beyond all technical stuff that it was a bit complicated because of times and the amount of production we had to make. It was like one of the best, if not the best project I've ever participated with Andres in Sloop
Oh,
at
I
Sloop.
love that.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Yes, Aunt Tiff.
No, no, thanks. I have to thank them both because the thing is, you know, when I applied to the Bermuda Festival and I completely just made up what I was going to do on the spot. I had procrastinated to the very last day of applying, and then I just made up that I was going to like animate spoken word poems and do videos, and then I had to deliver right when they said yes. So then there was this hurried search of like looking at animation studios in New York and California and Australia and Berlin. I mean, Norway. There was all this searching, and then I came to Sloop. This is their studio, their production company, and I like stalked them on Facebook and went down to posts that they had in like 2017, And I said, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to these guys, and I think they're the ones. And it was divine. It was the universe. I mean, the stars aligned. You know, it was the opposite of Mercury retrograde. It was like it was just meant to be. And since the moment I've met them, since the moment we started, I've just felt so uplifted and encouraged by them. We've had check-ins where I'm crying and like, you know, completely lost for words, where they're crying. I don't want to put them on the spot, you know, but like
You
We
can
don't
say,
mind.
yeah.
and it has, as Jorge said, been this healing for process for all of us that was so unexpected. So this is why I had to bring them here tonight. And you know, there are other great creators and collaborators that worked with me, but they were very short periods of work where we would film for a day and then they would go away, or it was very isolated, the work that the others did, which is Antoine from We Are Red Bicycle, and Kaz from Kaz Godfrey and Kaz Productions. But Jorge and Andres, we were like at it since like May and June.
Yeah, probably.
Like over the like May, June, July, August, September, like into October, they've been with me line for line in sync. And I just wanted to bring them in and share them with the world because they're in Buenos Aires. If you're wondering what's the accent, you know, it's not, it's not a put on. They're in the same time zone, thousands of miles away. So I just want to thank them
Yes.
both. They are skillful, talented, imaginative, creative, like truly like the best of humanity, and I love them.
I love that.
Thank
You
you,
guys are
Tiffany. We
Thank
love
you,
you.
Tiffany.
amazing. You guys are amazing.
This is
All
the
right.
match.
Jorge and Andres, thank you for joining us tonight for the premiere of Daddy. Without further ado, everyone watching, please enjoy Daddy.
You used to guard my dreams. I swore you spent days axe battling the boogeyman in my closet and the monsters under my bed. I swore you spent nights sleepwalking the hallway between our rooms, and you were water for the dragons and you were fire for the ghouls. Your history taught me how to see the system. Before I could even spell resist, you had me prepped for the resistance. I remembered stories of black berets, fists, leather jackets, and how you lit buildings owned by bigots. Daddy, you were my Ferdinand. Flowers and hoof. Now you are all horns. See, I never wrote you in as one of them. Not when it was you spelling out the tyranny of isms. But I didn't see Jesus coming. My eyes couldn't bend round the corner of your baptism. So before I am a lesbian, waiting for 2 words and a comma, I am just a daughter, searching for a rescue poem for her father. If only words were a bridge of stones across the ones you've thrown. I'd replace my armor for pajamas, and you'd already be carrying me back to bed. Have you forgotten how your souls were once the winds lifting my airplane body? How your arms embraced me like a runway, how you built me strong enough to survive, stepped on. But lately, I've been boxing your souls and icing my fists. Lately, my head feels knuckled and my heart puddles when you step. The nights you left me homeless, I felt like a top hat after the magic act, emptied of extraordinary. You never remember my memories. How I dismember the Barbies. I had always left them bushed up or buzz cut, a G.I. Jane figurine for each Jasmine. My easy bake sold more mud pies than cupcakes. I was ready for the revolution at 10. By 18, I knew liberty, statued and feminine, holding the torch of me between her thighs. I thought that the idea of grandchildren would crumble your Berlin walls. But the bricks of your shame were iron. You said any child of mine, adopted or otherwise, would be a heathen delivered into hell. And the well of me was emptied of all water and all wishes. So teach me how to love you now, because the truth is, I still need to curl up on your belly. My breathing half moon on a sky of blankets. At 11, I listened to your heartbeat through your blowhole, half expecting you to spray the sea out. I swore there were oceans inside you. Oceans piled like sapphire, high and deep. Oceans of anemones for the clown of me. Daddy, I never told you that your love was my alphabet, and that now I carry a language inside me in webs of I ams, and I am 1,000 Charlottes for your potbelly, because you are terrific, radiant, and humbling. You are a blue ribbon existence. So I'm quoting a silk banner in your doorway, trying to make poetry save us from the slaughter of religion.
Welcome back, everyone. Chills. Chills on Tiff. That was amazing. For anyone who's just tuning in, if you hear me calling Tiffany Aunt Tiff, that's not just a level of respect. She is actually my aunt. Um, and yeah, like Jorge and Andreas did amazing. Again, if any of you know Aunt Tiffany's dad, Latin painter, you know the belly, you know the curls. It's just even down to the illustration of the porch of the home. Like that looks like our old house, you know. So great job, great job. That was everything. Okay, Aunt Tiff, what was the first line that you wrote down or that came to mind when writing Daddy?
The first line that came to mind, it was, "You never remember my memories." And it came out of, it was inspired out of a conversation I had with my dad after what you saw was coming out to him, and him reacting very violently and out of character, from this gentle giant of a man to who would love and protect me, to somebody who was, for the first time in my life, attacking me verbally and physically. And so ultimately, we have been able to mend that relationship by his gesture of apology. That moment you saw on the steps was real. It was me going to him, initiated by him, to make amends and to apologize. And as I was talking to him, I asked him, I said, "It never occurred to you that I was gay?" Like everyone else seemed to know. Everyone else seemed to know but you, and everyone seemed to know but me. And and so that's when I realized, when I sat down to write, after that conversation where he explained his himself and asked me for forgiveness, um, that's where I wrote that first line was, "You never remember my memories." And it was an aha moment. It was a revelation for me, because I realized then that not only did he not share the same memories as I did, but neither did anyone in my family. That we could have the same Christmas morning, literally in the same house, and everyone had different interpretations of what happened in that morning. And so, even though we were living the lives side by side, shoulder to shoulder, everyone is taking in it differently according to their context and whatever's happened in their day, or whatever their dreams or values might have been in the moment, right? And so I think that's important. um, I'm really trying to deliver this message of seeing other people from their own context and understanding your own. We're not all walking around with the same ideas, because we don't have the same memories or recall of events. So yeah.
Okay. You're just so amazing. I'm sorry. Okay. In the film, there's a line that stood out to me. Your love is my alphabet. Can you explain that reference for us? Could you just let us know what that means?
Sure. So I think the line is I never told you that your love is my alphabet. And I think in every poem, I know that with every poem I write, I always try to have one line in there that's hard for me to say. One confession that really brings up all of my emotion and puts it all on the table. And I think that line about I never told you that your love was my alphabet, that's the line, that's the confession. Because the beautiful thing about my dad was that he completely accepted me almost my entire life. If I wanted to play football, he got me boots. When I was playing it badly, he taught me how to kick the ball straight. When I was a bookworm and into books, he bought me random books, filled my shelf with books and encouraged me to read. And he was that guy. He would tell me about how as soon as he knew I was born, he started playing classical music to me in the womb and reading to me from the womb. so so he felt like he had done all this work to get me to this to be this nerd kind of, so that foundation that he set was really all that I needed, to carry me through a lot of struggle and turmoil within our family unit. And yeah, I'm getting a little emotional, but his love was the foundation of me, of my sense of self, of my self-esteem, of my confidence. Um, just like how the alphabet is the foundation for language and connection and communication. And that's kind of the metaphor, or the double entendre happening within that, is he gave me love as this building block, but in giving me that love, he gave me words and gave me this idea of communication as love and love as communication. And just like you need these letters in the alphabet to form words and form sentences and ideas, that's what love is, in terms of it building a person. And so I love my dad, and he's my favorite person. No one else. No, I love no one better or no one more. So thank you for asking.
Thank you, Aunt Tiff.
If
Man.
anyone has any questions as well, I've got my phone here. I'm on you. I'm watching the chat live. So I'm seeing the love. And if you have any questions, we can get to them at the end. Feel free if anything comes to mind.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you, Aunt Tiff. Next is a short film called Mama's Tongue. Enjoy.
Mama's tongue. After 3 years of cancer sink and swim, my mother drowned. 4 years later, it occurred to me that I did not know her, that I may never know. I hold these moments, though, some of which have been gilded post-mortem. This is the debt we owe our ghosts and the due we give ourselves. The tailored memories and hemmed conversations are more real than the emperor's clothes, and they breathe better. My questions pace. Was it every cigarette of every day of every week? The arguments, the knife fights, the fists we catapulted from our tongues? Was it the long hours and late nights? Or the shitty tips, beers, and bills? Or the emptied accounts, accounting for zero balance? What takes a life? I do not know my mother. I don't know her. All I have is a grocery list of half-deeds, hunger and no receipts. 30 years of climbing her to get a better view of me, and I still avoid mirrors. Her eyes were always darts to my boyish parts, and I always felt more like a bullseye than the apple of her. I remember how she'd sing, one hand on the broom, one gesturing the air, Sienna eyes smiling and singing. Happiness closed her eyes, except when the water filled her lungs, except when the cancer found her bones. She drowned in bed, and there was no rope to throw. And I was too tired of treading the water, of being the daughter you never intended to keep. I do not know my mother. I know the memories I've rearranged and posed, photos that survive my fires and forgetfulness. Cancer cured the need to be more than her. But now I have a sense of the inevitable and prep my heart's bunkers for the days and their doom. It's so late. I know the undertow of truth and a kid that tucks herself in.
Welcome back, everyone. Um, yeah, that one was emotional, Aunt Tiff. Okay, beautiful. The beautifully written and animated by Antoine at Red Bicycle. Amazing job. I did notice the change in your tone between Mama's Tongue and Daddy. That was, I mean, I want to say that was a part of the creative, you know. But yeah, that was really cool. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship between you and your mom, my granny? What was, what were, what were some differences between how she treated you and your siblings that you can remember?
Thank you, Jade, for stalling enough for me to catch my own self and my own emotions. I somehow seeing like dedicated to Greta Painter at the end
Yeah.
really just does something, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, man, let me focus and answer your question.
I mean, I can
So
actually, you know.
no, 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 no. People are watching. Really, keep it
Oh,
moving.
right.
So basically, in terms of the why this looks so different from Daddy and what the tone, how the tone was, it's because our relationship for me was so different. The whole crux of that poem was my mom died and I felt like I never knew her. And so when other people around me were mourning her, I couldn't join in the same way. And that made me feel even more separate from my family. I felt even more like someone on the outside looking in. Like my whole life, I remember feeling rejected by her in a way that no one else was, or at least I thought that that's how it felt. You know, I wanted I wanted to play football with the guys, and she didn't really like that. You know, I wanted to climb trees, and she'd tell me girls don't climb trees. I would come home with scuffed up knees and elbows and scars all over me, and she'd say, you know, boys don't like girls with scars and dark knees and elbows. What are you doing? And so there were all of these little micro rejections, like my whole life, where, you know, I would ask for GI Joes and she'd get me Barbies. I'd ask for a bicycle and she'd get me an Easy Bake. And so it, I never felt truly accepted by her. I never felt truly seen, and I didn't understand. I'm only 5, I'm only 8, I'm only 10, I'm only 12. So I didn't understand why she hated me. And that's what I thought. I thought, she hates me and I don't know why. I don't know what I can do to win her love. And it was only after therapy and it was only after some real reflection on it that I realized she probably knew I was gay before anybody else. Like she probably saw it coming. She wanted to try to snuff it out. But in trying to snuff that out of me, she really just dampened and poured water all over like this fire that was in me. And she, instead of creating more love between us, she created this separation. Yeah, it wasn't until she was dying, like a week before she was moved to Agape House, and she said something really cruel and harsh, like even when she was sick and ill, and I just started bawling in the hospital room. I just thought, this is some crazy, I don't think I can curse, but you know, it's some crazy, craziness that she was dying and she still couldn't soften her love for me. She was still giving me tough love. And as I was crying, she called me over to the bed and she apologized. You know, she apologized for my whole life. She said, you know, I was so independent and so strong and so like self-driven that she felt like I didn't need her. And she said I was so sensitive, too sensitive. She didn't know what to do with that. And she apologized. And then like a week later, you know, she was gone. So this poem is really a cathartic releasing of a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I love my mom. That's one thing, you know, we've had 3 rehearsals and I've never said it in the 3 rehearsals that we've had, but I love my mom. Her smell was the smell on her pillows was my favorite thing. Like is still my favorite smell like on the planet. Her pillow smelled like perm, fruit pastels, perm, fruit pastels, this awful perfume, and cigarettes. That's what her pillows smelled like. And I just thought it was the best smell. I don't know what it was. It was like catnip to me. And, and she found me one day, like sniffing her pillows, like the weirdo that I am, right? And again, she just looked at me like, "What is wrong with you?" but I loved her, and I wanted to be close to her, and we never really bridged that gap. Um, and one of the reasons I'm sharing all of this personal stuff is because I think we need to um, share our stories in order to help ourselves, but also to be seen and to be known, um, and to understand one of the things that I learned through this ACES conference that the Family Center put on maybe in 2018 is that our parents had lives too. Like my mother had her own traumas. My mother had her own rejections, her own hurts, and her own wounds. And those wounds, unattended and unaddressed and unhealed, led into my relationship with her. And I wish I had gotten to know her when she was alive. She was beautiful. She was beautiful. And I admired her from afar.
It's crazy because she's my grandmother. And a point in my life, when I was going through what I was going through with my own mom, Granny was always, she was so soft with me. Like she was always my person to go. Like I knew, and I couldn't go to anyone else. Like you don't want to talk to your friends about stuff so I had my granny, and she always listened, and she always had my back. I'll call her, and she'll call my mama like, "Leave my grandchild," So to her that you had this relationship with her, and I had my separate relationship with her. It's just crazy, the dynamics. Like I remember I had a conversation with my mom. At some point a few years ago, we were speaking. Everyone watching, me and my mom are on great terms. She's like my best friend now. But we had a conversation a few years ago about our experiences and what we went through, and she said the same thing that Granny said to you. I was so independent and I was so strong, so it was like I didn't need her in a sense. And it wasn't, she didn't say it bitter, but I think we were both just sharing things, and she didn't realize the effects that it had on me. And so yeah, it's just like that they both said the same thing to us, and our family dynamics and our relationships with Granny, your mama, so anyway. Cheers.
No, but honestly, thank you for sharing that, because that's the beauty of this, right? Is like we don't have to keep on passing down the same wounds to each other. We can actually break cycles of like transgenerational trauma by sharing our hurts, by having these conversations. Like some of the conversations I've had with your mom over the last 3, 5, 10 years have transformed our relationship, deepened it in ways I could never expect. Like, she is my friend, your mom is my friend, and I didn't think at 18 I would be able to say that, and not just my sister, but my friend. Yeah. So you're reaping like the benefits of like her healing, my healing. And should you have a child or a dog or whatever it is you decide you want, like whatever you pass on, it'll just be more love and less hurt. You will do more good and less harm.
Yeah. I see how my mom is with her now grandchild, my niece. And so the difference in that, it's just, it honestly reminds me of me and my grandma's relationship. Yeah. So I'm glad that she has my mom. Anyway.
we can talk tomorrow over cockroach breakfast. Let's play the next video.
Okay, everyone, if you're still watching, coming up next is Ode to Kairos. Enjoy.
Ode to Kairos, lover of dinosaurs, specifically Ankylosaurus, lover of French fries, specifically ketchup with a side of fries. It is never just a bird. It is a hornbill, macaw, woodpecker, never just a whale. It is, however, a beluga, humpback, narwhal. Never just a dinosaur. It is an Ankylosaurus distinct from Triceratops. Always and ever forgiving of my novice misnaming. It is a Kairos. And on this blue sky June day, I'm wondering about all the ways the world will misname you. But I pray they will be specific. Kairos, when I say you're mine, I'm really saying I'm yours. Which is to say thank you to your mother for saying yes to the marathon that is motherhood, while the rest of us sprint, pull night shifts, bring pizza and gifts. Kairos, you deserve a world that will see you as specifically as you see everything in it. But we haven't built it yet. This world still looks without watching and ticks without clocking in the time to recognize your own divinity. It will sooner kneel on your neck before it bows before your basic goodness. It still calls you girl when you're more of a paleontological prodigy. It will hand you pink, even though you prefer black and leopard print. It still calls you kid instead of giant. And in all likelihood, this world will never love you back, specifically. Soon you will know you are black, and I hope you will think black like the shine of onyx or the ocean at night. But the world might think differently. Some might think black like tar stuck to bare feet, like the worst part of a beautiful day at the beach. Soon you will know you are light-skinned, and I hope you will revel in your spectrum the way you marvel at the rainbow the prism swirls along your bedroom walls. But know that some will lift you inches higher, just to make darker girls feel 6 feet small. Kairos, we haven't built the world you deserve yet, but admittedly I've been subdued, bruised with Langston-type hues, head in the sand, heart far from hand or sleeve. But when I think of you, I'm forced to get specific about what I can specifically do, to move philosophy to physics, because if Newton had his apple, we will need more trees to to. So I'm planting an orchard of poetry for you. I hope the world will stop to love the way your mouth chews over the vowels of sight words, how it stumbles over H-E, the. Will it appreciate how you play chicken with the Atlantic, simultaneously fighting and flighting? Will the world need memories of you to know that you deserve the best of it? Tell me how many or how much will bulletproof your future, and I will list specifics. Before they ever say her name, I will spell it. Kairos, 6 letters of the alphabet. 10 tiny fingers that dig fossils. 10 toes that still tiptoe when running her feet. 2 feet that keep outgrowing last month's pair. At least 1,000 strands of soft, curly black hair. 5 years of curiosity, high cheeks and bright eyes.
3 feet of know-it-all, hates to fail, and early signs of OCD, and no skin on my apple, please. But when she stretches her arms as far as she can reach to declare, I love you this much, you can't help but feel that actually God is in the details.
I love the Kairos. Absolutely. It just, like, I remember, we're only 5 years apart, but I remember I have so many memories of our childhood. And like, I just, that was great. That was great. I'm glad another child gets to experience you. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. Can you tell us who Kairos is, actually, and what things would you hope that she keeps with her about you in your life, in her life? Sorry,
Sorry, can you say that again? So
I'm
what
sorry.
things, what things?
Who is Kairos, and what are some things you hope that she keeps with her or remembers about you throughout her life?
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Jade. No worries. Yeah, so Jade and I are only a few years apart. So when I would go like hunting for chickens or climbing loquat trees, I used to drag her and any other neighborhood kids who would follow me around. I was a bossy child. and Jade was more of a captive than she realized. But in terms of Kairos is my godchild, and her mother Lauren blessed me with the title of being her godparent. Um, but yeah, in terms of my relationship with her, one of the things I really wanted to say before I go into like what I hope she remembers about me is that I have nieces and nephews and cousins who I'm not close with, like this, who I don't or haven't made the opportunities to see in this same way, who I haven't given as much time to. So I don't want to present this polished, like perfect Tiffany to the world. Like I have let people down. I haven't been as close to my nieces and my nephews who are younger than you. Um, and even your brother, I haven't had those relationships that I wanted to because I spent about 10 years in therapy and in depression trying to heal. And so for those 10 years, I was really missing in action, so to speak. Like I might have been physically here, but emotionally and mentally, I was unavailable. And they don't know, like I think I've said that to one of you, or I've apologized to our family and our group, for this period where I was gone. And I think that like sometimes, even though we have these beautiful families and we love our families, and we also have hard, difficult, toxic relationships within the family with different people. And I really did need to take time for myself to heal and create boundaries and separation so that I can like strengthen myself and know what I needed and what I would stand for and what I wouldn't, and be able to articulate that was hard. So, I I remember. So you didn't grow up this way, but I grew up getting dragged to like church. Like I grew our Aunt Peggy like took me to church, and I grew up with this concept of Moses, and that Moses who like set his people free. He was in the desert and he was living his life and he was joyful, and then he went back, to get his people and set his people free. And then later on, when I was in primary 6, Mr. Spencer was teaching us Black history and was teaching us about Harriet Tubman and how she was called Moses and how she too went back to go get her people and set her people free. And I thought, and at the time, I did not have great relationships with any of you. I didn't understand why these people would go back. If they're happy, if they're free, if they've overcome all of their struggles, you made it from slave country to Canada. Why would you go back? We were supposed to understand that, and they were supposed to be our heroes. But I just thought that is crazy. And if I get free, I'm not going back. I'm not coming back. This is what I thought as a kid, So it wasn't until I was completely healed and completely felt like a sense of wholeness and openness that I realized it's actually a natural thing. That once your cup is full, once you are healed and whole, and you're able to stop looking inward, you're able to look out. Once you've done that for yourself, this natural occurrence happens where you look around and you feel like you're uplifted and you want others to be uplifted with you. And you've come out of this hole and you can't help but look back and think, who else is in that hole? And you want to reach down into it, and it's just this natural occurrence. It's not even an effort. It's just what happens when you're whole and you're healed. And that's what's happening now. This is what you see. This is me inviting you to host me today. This is me putting these poems into animations and videos and motion graphics. So yeah, this is where we are. And in terms of Kairos, sorry, back to your question. In terms of Kairos and what I would like her to remember about me, she doesn't need to have any memories. Like, there's nothing in particular I want her to remember. I want her to know that she's loved. I want her to, when she thinks of me, to have a feeling deep inside of her of being seen and being accepted and being loved, because she is a unique
Man. Okay, I don't know what. Is she back? Oh man. Okay, I don't know what's happening there, but yeah, we're just gonna wait for her. Hopefully, it's just some connection issues. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed the show so far. For any of you who don't know, part of the Bermuda Festival is an outreach program for youth and seniors. Every year, the festival offers free performing arts workshops to public and private school kids, as well as senior centers. So, yeah, they do all of this for free. Oh, there she is. There she is. Hi,
I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay. I just meant I was talking about the outreach program.
So yeah. Thank you for saving that. I don't know. I don't want to call out my service provider. I have no idea what happened just now.
It's all good. It's all good.
But thank you for carrying on with the show. I mean, this is the hiccups of anything live, I suppose.
Yeah. This COVID world we're living in.
Things that never happen in 3 dress rehearsals happen live.
Exactly. Such is life. We move. All right. Moving on. So we've now viewed all three of your
Yeah.
amazing films. Great job on Tiff. But we have a very special surprise for the viewers. Tiffany will now do a live reading
Yeah.
of
So
your poem called The Trouble with Blood.
yeah. So this was written maybe 2 weeks ago, and I really wanted to um, offer something to everybody who has tuned in and stayed the distance into like 50 minutes in. This poem is dedicated to my nieces and my nephews and my brothers and my sisters. So it's called The Trouble with Blood. I'll be reading from my journal, and I may not be looking up, but I'm still with you as I read. Here we go. The trouble with blood is all the love, the need to forget, the effort to forgive, when your memory is elephant, heavy and horned. It's the boomerang of it, the momentum that gangs as you grow, if you can grow. Because some of us only gray as they age. Their tombstones are already engraved on their hearts, behind their eyes, their DNA changed. They've stored enough fake smiles to last 2 lifetimes, and a life without lifelines becomes wounds that won't heal. And the pain and repressed rage bleeds out, staining everything it touches, until hearts meant to hold only clutch and crush, and eyes meant to behold only judge and misjudge. The trouble with love is all the blood we spilled as we split hairs and lips. It's the love you know is there, but can't express. The words you wish you said, the time you didn't give. The trouble with blood is that nothing hits as hard as their hate, or lifts as high as their acceptance. The trouble with love is that it will outlive your anger. It will outgrow your answers, and your finger pointing blame, it will crown and crucify you until every wound is turned to wisdom. And long after you're done believing in it, and long before you realize your bitterness is its own prison, love will set you free. Oh, oh, to be loved and know it, that's everything. Thank you.
You're so amazing. Bravo, man. In real life, I want to jump up and clap and make all this noise, but sure. Wow, Tiff, this. Thank you for including me in this.
I think that's the first time you've ever heard it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I saved it.
It is. Yeah, you
Yeah.
did amazing, man. So how did you heal from all of this trauma you experienced?
Well, that's the thing, is like I haven't really gone into the details of like what happened when we were kids or what I experienced. And I won't. This is not a moment of like airing any laundry or grievances. How I've healed is a combination of things. I've healed through yoga, poetry, and people. Like my Instagram title is yoga, poetry, people, and that's what's really been part of my healing journey. And at three really low points in my life, like well-meaning people and friends like said I should try yoga. And at the time I just thought, who recommends yoga for like depression? Like who? That's a white people thing, like And I just thought, I'm not gonna try yoga. But after my mama died, I was experiencing like heart palpitations and unnatural like breathing, and the doctors couldn't figure out why. And so I had like MRIs and heart scans and ultrasounds, and they were really worried. I even had an X-ray as the last step to figure out how to get my heart beating properly, and none of it worked. A friend at that point said, you should really try yoga. And I thought, oh my God, this yoga thing keeps coming up. So I ran to a yoga class, kicking and screaming inside. And by the end of it, I bawled. I was crying all over my mat. And I felt a sense of relief that I hadn't felt in months after her passing. And I didn't know why then, I was just literally a newbie. But later on, as I deepened my yoga practice, as I learned and became a teacher of yoga, I learned that it's really science. It's not this esoteric thing, a cloud that you're trying to catch or capture. It's just rooted in science. And so what naturally occurs as you do yoga, as you tune into your breath and your body, everything that's kind of stuck in your body, all of the ways that your body has been holding on to hurt and trauma, the yoga releases. It's this natural occurrence of breaking down these barriers inside of yourself and disarmoring that just happens when your practice is deep, when your teacher brings a spiritual element to it. It can have profound effects on your body. And so being in this flight or fight, thinking and mindset wasn't only mental, it was physical. And so the yoga allowed me to calm my mind and my body and bring me back to this point of like homeostasis, where I could truly begin to heal, because until you exit that fight and flight pattern, you're not actually able to heal. And then what got me to that point, what got me all the way from like being this weird internal introverted kid at 11 to the point of yoga was poetry. It was the works of like Nikki Giovanni, Kante Cullen, Audre Lorde, and Langston Hughes, Robert Frost, Mary Oliver, all these poets, the ability and the time to write and journal and reflect on my own. It was a lifesaver. And then people, of course, because then as you're healing, as you feel like you're finding your authentic self, you're able to connect more authentically to people. One of my friends, dear friend, Gordon, he said to me one time right after my mom had died, he's like, Tiffany, instead of it just letting it break you, what if instead of it breaking your heart, it could break your heart open? Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could let this moment do that? And just that, just that little nugget, just that little tiny seed he planted of breaking open allowed me to really be open to yoga, be open to help, and be willing to ask for the help that I needed, and go to therapy and do yoga and reach out. People like you and our relationships, my friends, my family, people. We need people.
Mm-hmm. I don't even, you're just, hello. I don't know what to say. Say, Tiff, you're just so amazing, and I adore you, and you're just. I love you. I love you. Okay,
I
what's
love
next?
you too.
What is next? What is next? Let the people know what's next.
So what's next is like I am definitely going to start use this opportunity with the Bermuda Festival to continue to grow in exposure, continue to share my poems and poetry and spoken word. I'm going to try to get published, self-published through Amazon KDP, and maybe then, catch the eye of somebody, like have like a rupee core moment. Um, and also, I'm part of this program called Ignite, which has helped me to develop a local social enterprise and global social enterprise as well, because eventually we're going to scale it up. That's looking to integrate yoga and mindfulness programs into all of our local and private schools in real and meaningful ways, and give yoga and mindfulness as practical tools to generations earlier than they're getting it now. Because the thing is if I had received yoga as a child at 8, I think, wow, what that might have changed, how that would have helped me, and it could have changed the entire trajectory of my life. I may be sitting here in robes, in orange robes instead of like denim jackets, but ultimately that, like, these are the two main things: is a social enterprise called Soham that's coming up, and then this taking myself seriously. So my website will be launched tomorrow. It's Tiffany Paynter, www.tiffanypainter.com. So it won't be launched tonight, but tomorrow it'll be live and up, and people can check it out. And this is one of the ways I'm really trying to honor my creative inner child that, like, I never gave time or space to.
All right. I don't know what to say to you.
Well,
I love
well,
you.
before we go, because I don't want to leave without saying a big thank you to Maria and Cindy. Right,
Yes.
this
Yes.
is the 46th annual festival,
Yes.
and they had to pivot completely and go virtual. The entire thing has been virtual since I think June or July, and it's continuing after the show,
Yeah.
after this show. They have been wonderful. They have been behind the scenes, like smoothing out many ripples, tech ripples. On top of that, the advertising time that they've put, and the budget they've put into this entire festival, but also myself, like, I'm seeing my own ads like everywhere for the last week. I'm thinking people are going to be tired of me by the time I get to Saturday. I just cannot thank them enough. I would never be able to afford this level of exposure on my own. So thank you to the Bermuda Festival. It may
Yes.
not have been the direction you wanted to go, but I think it is definitely a lesson on how to grow and grow beautifully. So thank you to Maria, and thank you to Cindy and the rest of the Bermuda Festival crew behind the scenes.
Yeah. Thank you. Even thank you guys for this opportunity. I don't know who your host would have been, but it wouldn't have been. So
No,
thank you guys for being open to that, and
yeah.
providing these opportunities for artists because it's needed. So
It
thank
is
you.
needed, and
Thank
and uh, and even after all of that, there's still like this. All of these, this is happening in an effort to raise money for the Coalition for
yes,
the Protection of
yes,
Children, which
yes.
is something that I learned like after the fact. Like it wasn't. It's just natural alignment that this show is all about family and the child and seeing our children, seeing ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, and then to know that they're doing a fundraiser right now. If you go to bermudafestival.org, you can figure out how to donate.
Yes.
They're trying to raise, I think, $10,000 for the Coalition for the Protection of Children, and one other local charity. I think that's still to be determined, but Yeah, it would be amazing if everyone here really just went there and gave what they could, you know, $5, 10. Yeah, donate.
And you had your technical difficulty with your provider. We're gonna call them out on the live stream. I was telling the viewers about their performing arts programs that they do at senior centers and everything completely free. So again, if you can, please donate. Please donate, listeners. Please donate. The Bermuda Festival does amazing things for the Bermuda community, not even just the creative community. So yeah, man, you guys are amazing.
Thank you to all the contributors, Kaz, Felix, who did the sound, Hannah, who did the guitar on Ode to Kairos, Jorge and Andreas. Yeah, Hannah Bouchard did the guitar. Thank you for everyone like blowing up the chat. I'm still in it. I'm looking at everybody's like things. So many hearts. People from around the way. No, I really haven't seen any questions. Just lots of cheering, lots of encouragement, and I couldn't ask for more. You know, please, this will be live for I'm not sure how long, but if you felt touched by something, please do share this live. Share the link to this YouTube with whoever you think might be touched by it, or anything that I've said might resonate with.
Yeah.
To just spread the word and help us.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. If you're still here, if you was with us from 8, thank you for bearing with us through our technical difficulties and me and my aunt Tiff's personal conversations. You know, we appreciate you. Coming up next for the Bermuda Festival is a show by Lana Young, A Pursuit of Dreams Against All Odds, on November 13th. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and good night.
Good night.